This feels like The Witcher, was a thought that crossed my head yesterday after I finished Violet Evergarden. So, Taylor, what the hell were you thinking? I don't know. Let's find out. What does it mean when something feels like something? When there's enough elements existing in object A that are congruent or similar to object B, your brain just kind of makes the connection. And in short, that's what something feeling like something is. For example, when I started playing Valorant, I went to the training range and we're testing out some guns. I pulled out the Odin and started shooting it and made the remark to my friend that, this feels like a Destiny machine gun. And the reason I said that is probably because of similarity in recoil and sound design. In another example, people often say that the Jedi Fallen Order combat feels like Sekiro. And the reason is probably due to the focus on parries and defense breaks that both of these games have. As a final example, some journalists believe Cuphead feels like Dark Souls. Because they're difficult. So why did I consciously think to myself that Violet Evergarden feels like The Witcher? Well, first, let's examine some surface evidence. Both mediums look incredibly beautiful and have settings that, although are very different, give off a similar aesthetic. Both mediums take us to a bunch of settings, from mountains to city streets to kingdoms. And the soundtrack complements all of these settings very well. Speaking of the soundtrack, both of the mediums have soundtracks that manage to give off this sense of yearning and longingness, and also a sense of adventure. These emotions are expertly brought out by the string, brass, choir, and woodwinds that compose these soundtracks. Ultimately, the sensory details of visuals and sounds is what really kickstarted my brain to make these subconscious connections between two seemingly completely different mediums. Or at least that's how it seems on the surface. How does a child soldier living in an allegorical post-World War I setting learning empathy through working as a scribe have anything to do with a mutant super soldier living in a medieval fantasy world killing monsters for pay? Well, actually, a surprising bit. Both Geralt and Violet are characters that are emotionless because of events in their past. Geralt, through his Witcher training, becomes emotionless, and Violet, through her soldier training, becomes also emotionless. But they both regain emotions through interacting with people. Geralt learns to love through Ciri, Triss, and Yennefer. And friends like Zoltan and Dandelion are always there for him. Violet also learns empathy through interacting with her clients and people around her office. Speaking of professions, being a Witcher and being a doll have surprising similarities. They both deal with tragedies. As Geralt, you're dealing with desperate people that are either being harassed by monsters or other assholes, while Violet allows people with suppressed emotions to finally express those feelings through her letters and maybe even make peace with the unfortunate hand they've been dealt. So in a way, these are similar characters that are going through similar journeys. And perhaps was this the reason that I thought Violet Evergarden feels like The Witcher? No, probably not. This is just some bullshit arbitrary connections that I made after analyzing it for a while. Honestly, I probably just thought that they felt like each other because of the soundtracks and how similar I felt they felt and the similar emotions that they invoked of yearning and stuff like that. I mentioned that about 2 minutes ago. And honestly, I just kind of wanted to use these songs in a video, and you've been listening to them this entire time, so yep, I checked that off. But on a serious note, I really loved Violet Evergarden. I thought the animation and sound design on its own was just already phenomenal, and top that off with these story arcs that delivers a climactic punch, a cathartic punch pretty much each episode. Truly, it's a phenomenal show. And also, I really love the world of The Witcher, but I'll talk about that in like a year or two. Anyways, why did I think Violet Evergarden felt like The Witcher? Music. What was the point of this video?